Let's rock and roll, boys.
Hello and welcome to another Nintendo. It is my time now. Welcome to another Nintendo podcast. Let me introduce. You know the boys. The boys are all here. Let me introduce the number one boy. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. It's Matt Schultz.
Austin needs a reboot.
Yeah. Do you?
Beep, beep, beep. I don't have enough RAM to cry.
Not enough RAM.
I'm doing fine. Okay, introducing boy number one, coming in from the door from Chi-Town. It's he doesn't have arms, but he has a nice attitude. It's Matt Schultz.
Hello.
And coming in second, he's a nice young man, and you know him well. It's Austin Cummings. Hey, I'm happy to be here. We also have Andrew. We also have a delightful young man, Andrew Watson. Andrew, how are you today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing fine. And that is the end of the show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And as always, we'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors of the show. First of all, find us on Patreon. For finding me on PayPal. And also, we are also sponsored by, as always, LaCroix. Popping up a cold one right now. It's lime, ladies and gentlemen. Lime is on the menu.
Okay.
Lime is back on the menu. Pop it. There it is. There's the full crack. That is the ceremonial beginning of another Nintendo podcast. A trademark.
Drink it
No affiliation with LaCroix, please don't press charges. So we thought we'd do another little episode here. This time we're going to talk about more specifically Mario Tennis Aces, the game that launched last Friday on the Nintendo Switch, the GCN. So we want to talk a little bit about our experiences as all three of us are playing it, the likes, the dislikes, and those trick shots, those rascals. You think you know what's coming, but if you don't play sharp, you're into the frog pan, as they say. So let's each go around and talk about it. You're out of the fire and you're into the trick shot. You know the drill.
Frying pan.
You're back in Booster's house because he's there and he's mean and he's on that boat. Matt, why don't you kick us off? Tell us a little bit about your experience with Mario Tennis Aces.
Sure. So downloaded it the night of. Ever since we saw it first revealed, I've been excited about it. I haven't been on the Mario Tennis train for a while, but I do remember playing it. What was it, Wii or GameCube? I don't remember which era, how old, but I just remember loving it with my brothers and friends.
I don't think there was even a Wii iteration. There was a remake of Power Tennis, I believe, or like a port on the Wii, right? But I don't think there was a true iteration.
I've always been a fan of the Mario Strikers series, both games, and this, for whatever reason, this tennis game just kind of had those vibes for me that I was like nostalgic for, so picked it up and started playing it with a friend on the first day who was like, I remember he looked at me, he's like, yeah, you want to play some Mario, tennis today?
Hey, freak.
And so I was like, yeah. So we both picked it up and started playing it, and it was difficult to get a hang of. Both of us sucked. In fact, I'm playing it right now. I have it in my hands.
Okay, well, buddy, we're trying to focus.
And
I thought I heard the music.
It's there.
I've been playing Hollow Knight this whole time, so get that nerd
out of here.
I'll say, like, learning some of the trick shots and just kind of remembering what buttons to press has been. It hasn't been as intuitive as I thought it would be. It looks gorgeous. The game looks really great, whether you're playing in handheld or on your TV. And I've gotten online and I've just gotten completely crushed every time.
Totally Shrek'd. No, Shrek confirmed. Yeah, agreed. That's something that's immediately apparent with the game. So something I really like about the game is that the menu itself, once you hop out of story mode, which awkwardly boots into, but the menu itself has like that Mario Kart 8 look. And I really love the idea of having this Mario sports cinematic universe of games that all have like kind of a similar format, because this game, true to Mario's other entries on the Switch, has a high level of polish in many respects. Like visually, it looks really great. Mechanically, it's awesome, which of course is a hallmark of Nintendo games, and that's the most important thing. It's really fun to play. And I like the similarities it shares with Mario Kart 8. But the difference is, like, Mario Kart, you can just give to whomever, right? And expect them to pick it up and play. You can even play with the gyro if you want, or put it in the racing wheel, right? And people can emulate that. You know, a child sitting in the passenger seat of a car knows what it is to play with a fake steering wheel. And you would think they'd make the same, easy switch for tennis. There is a swing mode, but if you're really playing the game proper, it is complex. There's like a lot to kind of always be accounting for. It has that fighting game mentality to the mechanics, the counters, the way in which you build meter, expend super at critical points, the ability to do a reversal in the sense of to block a super move or pull one off yourself to cancel the effect. It has that type of kind of mental component, which I do really like, but it is a barrier to entry. And I've lost to Andrew almost every time, and for that reason, I have to give it a D.
Andrew, you should go online. We should be playing while we're talking about this.
Oh, while we're talking right now? I won't be able to focus. It
seems exclusive.
I can't do it.
He's too good. He's too into it.
He's too good. Yeah, he can't throw away his career on this. I've been trying all my life.
So I hopped on and started just destroying the computer, and I was just like, I'm doing pretty good at this. Let's go online. And then just got absolutely crushed. In the same way I got crushed in ARMS.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. That's like a hallmark fighting game, right? You play arcade mode, and you're like, not even so bad. I got it perfect. And then it's like you go online, and it's just like they're playing a different game. Yeah, they're playing that 3-dimensional chess, or they're in such a different realm, skill ceiling wise, that you just get totally rocked. I was really hoping after having played the tournament demo that playing the real game, the full game, would kind of diversify the audience a little more. Right. And Andrew and I, last week we went and picked it up in person at Best Buy, and anecdotally, a lot of the copies appeared to have been sold out. Like it has the appearance at least that it's selling well.
Yeah, I had to walk up to the front and ask for it.
It's the number 1 or 2 selling game on the eShop right now too, which is to be expected. Yeah. But
no, but it's still good to see, and we did have to kind of search for it, which was a good sign for sure. But I expected that would kind of diversify the player base enough that I would have some people that I could kind of, show you moves with. Even as such, I've been getting like totally rocked. Andrew's definitely the better player between the two of us, but a lot of that's kind of performance enhancing things that he's been doing that I wouldn't talk about on the podcast.
Thanks, man. Thanks, dude.
Andrew, why don't you?
I'm taking the Bradley Cooper drug, and he just spoiled everything.
Oh, they're Limitless, right? That's the movie.
Limitless drug. I'm so smart.
At the end of this, we're going to do our Limitless podcast, and we're going to kind of stay tuned for that and the TV series. Okay, Andrew, why don't you talk a little bit about your experience with Aces, and Matt, why don't you go ahead and pause the game?
Can you hear it?
I love Aces, although we'll get into the campaign in a bit, I'm sure. But what I just love is because I used to play the N64 tennis game a lot, like all the time. That was the game. We'd come home from school and just play constantly and get into like the longest rallies. And it was like, we'd have to like take our shirts off because we were sweating so much.
And this is a different story.
That's what's so fun, rallying with a friend that you're just like, you never know how this particular like match is going to end. I love that.
Yeah, shirts off, just two boys, just kind of going at the mat in the heat of the moment. I love that. Just
wriggling those joysticks.
Absolutely.
No, it really brought back those memories, and I feel like the controls are really well done and
absolutely
relatively simple. I still fumble a lot with the what is it? The trick move, if you tap the top button twice and he does it, but it's also the lob and the drop shot button. So but they also
that's very strange to me. That's the one button thing that I have gripe with, and not to cut off, but
the other three have the double click to make it more powerful, and then the top one doesn't. Right, and then it's like, I keep doing that.
I know, that is the one that gets me too. You can't use the right analog stick to perform the movement, so I guess you could be just using that button once, but I always hit it multiple times as if to charge, or not sure if it is registered type thing, and then invariably do a dodge backwards and whatever, and it's it kind of gets me. But besides that, I do think mechanically, very, very fun to have all that. And it's fun to have all that, the number of characters is great. And to Daisy looks just awesome, and she was just rocking it in a way that I didn't expect to have those feelings for. She was always she's not a Rosalina, she's not a Peach.
Just yeah.
I like her character.
She's there on the court.
She walks on 2 feet just like the rest of us.
Exactly. She's a mere mortal, but in her own way, much more.
Yeah, I found myself moonwalking in this game when I'm not trying to moonwalk, or like shuffling to get to something that
particularly as Waluigi, he literally does a moonwalk. But yes, it's that button is the thing that does get me, that command.
Yeah. The tournaments are fun too. Yeah. Right.
Let's get in a little bit then and talk about the campaign of the game. So people were excited. This game is made by Camelot, and they've really headed up a lot of these Mario sports titles. And people were excited when it was originally announced, as was I, because the game includes a campaign. In the Game Boy Advance game, there were RPG elements. You'd level up. The original games even had like other characters that were just like kind of derpy male-female characters, but it kind of introduced this level of customization and player interaction with the Mario universe that was kind of neat, and had these kind of leveling mechanics. So this game kind of looked like a return to form, because our last entry in Mario Tennis was Mario Tennis Ultra Smash on the Wii U, which was completely bare bones. It was one court, a set of characters, no story. You're just basically buying that package. So this one has a campaign. Matt, how far into the campaign have you played?
Oh gosh, like four stages.
Okay.
And the reason why is I started playing and my friend was over. So he was coming over.
No need to brag.
And I was like, ooh, I'm just gonna play the campaign for a little bit until he shows up. And then he showed up, and there was no, I don't know. I was just like, I'm playing this to play with friends. So, but it did suck me in a little bit, and I do enjoy some of the different elements of like puzzle solving, while also learning some of the components of the game and some of the strikes and different swings and special shots. It is very helpful in that regard, but still, I don't think it sets you up to play a human player.
No.
So, but it's fun.
Yeah, I would agree to a sense in that the original, the desert level, there is that level that's kind of boring, but it does have you doing the different types of strikes in order to figure out that portion of the game. But the basic commands, so it's educational in that way, which is often a mark of a good campaign in fighting games, and that they're kind of teaching you, but they also have a bit of a story and or at least take you places. But I will say that campaign is not a highlight for me. The game is very hard to a certain point. It's hot garbage. I consider myself pretty good at games in general, but you might be familiar with Blooper. He is not a nice boy. You might know him as just an item.
I just took him down last night, dude.
Did you defeat him?
I did. I defeated him.
He's hard.
Not without crying a couple times.
I know. You gotta break down. You gotta get in his element. His rain teary element.
His court and that pole in the center that he can bounce off whenever he wants to. Apparently, it's so rough.
I know, and he's a trick shot character, so you combine that too. Yeah, the chords, for example, I think are really neat. I like the fact that there's the stage hazards and stuff, and it does add a level to it that's kind of like Smash or ARMS in that way, where there's it's just much more interesting than a traditional tennis court for this over-the-top style of game. It's nice to have those options. And I actually kind of like the ship level. There is just a pole in the middle. It's a very simple change, but it does kind of keep it interesting. However, the game is brutal. It is difficult. And the game overall, I think it's just in a nutshell for Mario Tennis Aces. It just has a lot of kind of quality of life features that are missing. One of which is in the campaign, there's no immediate retry option, which is very lame, because you either throw the match, but if the match is long, and there's a number of games to a set, if there's X number of sets in the match, you could be waiting a while to then end it, to which you get a very insignificant but also seemingly meaningless amount of experience that when you level up doesn't change the equation at all. Or you quit out, but even if you do quit out, you're still forced to listen or read the exit conversation, which is incredibly lame. The writing is just very basic. And then re-enter the stage, and here you can skip it, but Toad, who is kind of the mouthpiece for Mario in this game, he's his companion,
to do all the
walking through the very lame lore of this world and this Infinity Stone Racket.
Oh my god. It's so true.
Every character is like
fun isn't
like
really something one considers when bringing balance to the tennis court.
Getting a point on a serve does put a smile on my face. I would say just like the lore of the world is frustrating. Like, the Mario games are not known for their like incredible stories, but Odyssey, for example, does deliver like kind of a fun story, has an excellent ending, and with kind of the bare bones plot structure, because Mario is emotive and Cappy is emotive and communicative. This, however, it just feels silly to have the characters in the this kingdom make announcements like, oh, there's like legend of this racket with these 5 power stones, which is also weird. A rude reference to the now gone for many years Power Stone back on the Dreamcast. So those are terrific kind of multiplayer party games. But in any event, they get to collect these Power Stones, and everything's like, oh, the hint said there's something about like sand. It's like the most generic video game thing of all time. But it's like it's sand, trees, water, fire, ice. Like it's just every like checkbox in terms of like a video game adventure. And so they make it out that like there's this hidden relic, but you would never believe even for a hot second that this type of thing would be concealed for even a moment if people knew about the power this thing would wield and how obvious all the hints were. So it would almost be better if it were delivered without the Toad's portion of the dialogue, for just Mario reacting to the adversaries, some of which are interesting enough, whether it be Spike, nobody's favorite character, saying trying to taunt Mario or challenge him to a rally or things like that would probably be more effective than Toad having to reply every time about like how this might advance their cause for the mystery of the racket and things like that.
I can only listen to Mario say the same sound bites over and over again for so long.
And they're the same. It's the most egregious with
like
Wario. It's Charles Martinet. Exactly. He's just it's clearly just one. And I think, overall, that's how the game does feel. The same thing goes for the unlockable characters, or rather like the complete lack of. Andrew, do you want to talk on this a little bit? Because I know you and I have been chatting about it.
Yeah, it's weird that when you go to the character screen, you see those 3 question mark spots as if there are people to unlock, right? But what's that?
Yeah, no, continue agreeing.
But it's now I lost my train of thought.
It's a 3 question marks as if there's like some sweet unlockable.
That's right. Yeah, and so you think that you can unlock them, but it's actually just you're just waiting for them to be unlocked. It's really weird.
Right, exactly. It's just advertising an upcoming event, so it's like play in July to get Koopa Troopa early. And it is, which is a little disappointing because although, there are people, and I do understand where it's like you get the Smash Bros. Game, right? And you want all the characters, maybe, so that like you can play with people right away and not have to unlock stuff. For me, I'd always prefer to have the character unlocks, even if it means I'm going to run into an encounter at a friend's house where they're missing Wolf. I'd rather unlock the characters. It's fun. I'm excited that Smash Ultimate goes back to the original N64 roster as the starting roster, and then seemingly you unlock the characters, through the 63 or however many, not counting the echoes, very quickly. I wish for tennis it would be the same because there are cool characters. I think Chain Chomp is very funny. I like, it's fun to have even Spike or Waluigi or Daisy. These characters that are, but I would like to unlock them. I'd like the thrill of unlocking them.
Right.
Yeah. They really missed out on not having King Boo as the boss of that mansion too.
Yes, that's another thing too. So in the story mode, spoilers, but like Petey Prong is like the first boss in the forest area, which is fun to have that call back to Super Mario Sunshine and a character that appeared in Double Dash.
Right.
And you fight him in a way that is kind of authentic to how you take him down, or you have to aim at his belly button with the little cross on it, and so it's very cool. But then as you go forward, the boss design is so lazy. Like in the mansion area, opposed to being King Boo, which would be the obvious spooky manor one, it's like a mirror that has a face on it. Like in the ice area, it's like 2 ice rock hands, that are similar to Mario 64.
Literally in every Nintendo game, I think.
Every game, you find a character in like it's Congo Bongo and the
Andros
Master Temple and the Andros or the Hyrule Temple where the Master Sword is Wind Waker. It's like every one of those games. It's like obviously their hands are the weak spot. It's just so boring, and it's like there are all these great Mario, even They're like King Bob, the first person you encounter in Super Mario 64, when you get to the top and you throw him off, he's like a basic enemy. Or that mirror boss, that could have easily been a thwomp. That would even have been more interesting. It's just, it feels lazy. There are also these rackets you unlock in the game, and they look neat and actually have cool animations. Andrew and I were talking about like the wood one is this cool like gear spinning thing that totally doesn't make any sense for a racket, but it's fun and visually interesting. Yeah. And they have different stats that have no appreciable effect, but at least they are differentiated somehow. What if you could use those in multiplayer? A la the carts or the wheels or the gliders back in Mario Kart 8.
Right.
It's just something to add a level of like, okay, I'm going to pick my character, but I'm also going to pair him with a racket, and that's going to give me some type of thing I can play with. Maybe I'm someone, I want to use a power character, but they're so slow, I need to use this racket because it gives me a little speed. Like, just something to work towards unlocking, differentiate yourself, and feel like you're kind of making,
in the same vein as ARMS, where you
more.
can just unlock tons of different customizations.
So much.
Right.
And honestly, I wish Mario Kart had even more customizations than they do. But
yeah, Sam, I wish like the characters in Mario Kart had stats for just the character. They're clearly happening in the background. There's no way to like see it.
Yeah.
I wish that was a little more clear, and I wish there was anything like that for the multiplayer, because it's in the single player. I wish it were in the multiplayer for tennis.
Yeah, that would be good. What are some of your favorite and least favorite levels?
That's a good question.
I didn't like the little the one of the first ones with the piranha plants spitting fire at you.
I do like that one. Yes, you shoot it into them and they like shoot it back at a different the opponent. It's wild and totally hard to predict because it comes out at a velocity that's totally doesn't match the velocity in which they ingested the ball. But I like those courses in general. I just think they're kind of a fun twist.
Yeah. I like their change. I don't know. It kind of changes up the pace of the game a little bit. But I'm just I just want to play a tennis match. Just play a tennis match. I don't want to smack all these piranhas. I don't know.
No, that's fair. It kind of reminds me a little bit of in Smash Bros. Are you the type of person who likes to have just Final Destination or Battlefield, or do you like to have Cornetto with the lasers and the guns? I always feel
the latter for sure.
It's a game, and I would prefer to have a little bit of the exception of the ice climber stage. I like it when the course is fight back a little bit. It's interesting.
Speaking of a party game, can we do a Mario Party live podcast where we're playing and talking at the same time? I think we need to do that.
Do we need to? How do we do screen capture? Is that a?
We can screen capture. I have the software on my computer. We could do that, but we don't have to.
We have the technology.
I was just thinking we just talk.
We just
chat about it.
Watch that shit.
I like it. That'd be totally fun.
Sound off in the comments if you're interested.
Tennis too. If we get Matt, we get another buddy on here type thing too. That would also be a fun application to play some matches. The game mechanically very fun. So my question is, and this is what a question I kind of want to pose to you guys, and maybe we'll wrap up the episode. I don't know much more, how much legs this thing has, but in terms of the game and the post-release support. So we already know there's going to be DLC characters we have Koopa Troopa, Blooper, we have Diddy Kong, which is a neat one. Some of these characters you already encounter, Blooper, Koopa Troopa, Paratroopa, in the campaign, so they already know they're there, which is a little bit of a lame unlock. In terms of other things, right now, for example, the online, the tournament aspect is good. It runs fairly well, I do feel like. And they're coming out on Friday, I believe. There's actually going to be a new system they are patching in where you're going to have a new ranking system. It's going to be a more meaningful ranking system, which is good. But you can't play, if I wanted to play right now, Matt, you and I, online doubles against some random people, we would not be able to do that. We would have to be playing locally on the same Switch if we wanted to play doubles against other real people online.
Really, yeah, and that's what my friend and I did while he was here, and I was excited about it, but I didn't realize that was the only way.
Only locally. Wow. Only locally can you do that. And it's you also can change the settings. This is a big one of the game. So you can't actually play a full traditional game of tennis. You can only play a 3-set match or things of that ilk, a very short tennis game. Some people have kind of equated it in terms of duration. I'm no tennis expert, but equated to playing one inning of a baseball game, for example. You cannot choose to play more. It's just very limited, those features. As well as we've already talked about the lack of unlockables, the lack of rackets online, the lack of any meaningful stats or anything. So, do you guys think there will be patches that might include that stuff, or is this Nintendo as Nintendo is, and the game is probably, for the most part, set in its way?
Yeah, it's probably just going to be set in its way. I don't think it was rushed, but I think that they aren't spending a lot of time or resources on this anymore.
Yeah. I'm with you.
It's not it's not like they're big developers working on this in-house.
Right, no, it's Camelot. Right. They're just a partner of Nintendo. Exactly. I don't think Nintendo doesn't even own Camelot. And my feeling is that, because a lot of the conversation online of people being like, well, they'll probably patch this or that, and I think it just feels like a kind of, I'd love to see it, but it feels at the moment like a somewhat wishful or naive version of how Nintendo's been treating their properties. We talked about on the last podcast, listen to episode 8, but like the fact that Nintendo has added the DLC for Labo for Mario Kart, but we have not in Mario Kart seen any changes to the online system, which runs the same as the janky Wii U matchmaking lobby. And still to this day,
it's the worst.
I cannot join you, Matt, or you, Andrew, in a Splatoon match without you already being, and play against random people online, without you already being in a match and my waiting and spectating. And then even when I've done that and eventually someone quits and I can join, even then I obviously can't talk to you through the game, but more importantly, we can't even choose to be on the same team in that environment.
Yeah, lately I feel like I've been on the same team when it comes to ranked, but anything else, if you're in Splat Zones or Splatfest, typical Splat, not
right. Yeah, ranked is, you go in as a squad.
Or turf war, I'm saying. But if you're in turf war, you can't be.
Yeah, no. Right, you can't. We can't do normal turf war and play a team up, and even I don't mind when it mixes it up, and I understand why they do it, trying to they don't want some power team just rolling through is their idea. But there should just be a mode that allows you to.
Right.
So if people want to have that experience, they can put it on the same team. It's a simple ask, and it's how all multiplayer shooters work. So it would be nice if it were there. And even if it weren't, it would be nice if we could squad up and then go into matchmaking. But still it has to be join a group in session. If you try Mario Kart 8 and the lobby's full, you just get an error message and kick back to the main screen. There's nothing elegant about it. It's never changed. I just don't have any faith that aces will be treated differently. The one exception I can think of as far as core Nintendo franchises is ARMS, which has gotten, they did get the achievement system, which is very cool. It did get a bunch of characters that were not just campaign characters, except for Max Brass.
Right.
So, and the robot kind of, and so it's neat. They did that, but that game also didn't change a ton online too. It just kind of trickled out more arms to unlock or different means of unlocking them.
Right.
But they didn't really fundamentally change anything. It's always Nintendo adds content, but I think they probably, Nintendo notoriously, their games don't come out until the game they feel like is really complete.
Yeah.
Right? They don't do a lot of patches in general. I think when games come out, that was their vision, so they added to their vision, but I don't think they ever adjusted, for the worse.
Yep. Well,
my thoughts.
So I kind of want to play Mario Tennis with you both. I want to, for me, it's a fun, it's not something, I don't know. If I had 4 people over, it'd be kind of fun, but to me,
sure.
I like the idea of just jumping on with somebody and similar to Splatoon, just maybe, in this case, getting on the phone with them, because that makes more sense. And calling them up and say, hey, let's play doubles against somebody, and just enjoy it that way.
Dub me. Yeah, exactly. I hope there's some more options to introduce. In the meantime, I like it, and it's good, and I'm totally enjoying playing it. But I only say these things because I'm inherently an angry person. I just gotta get it out on the air, but also just
the dark side.
You want them to be. That gives you power. Focus. You power. You told me about the sad people. Strike me down. Take it. I just say these things because I want Nintendo, especially the online service coming out this fall, to just do a little better. I want them to apply the same level of attention to things in their online space that I think are customary now in this present day of online gaming now in 2009. So it'd be nice if it can meet that 2009 standard that we're in right now and have matchmaking and things like that.
Do you think the voice chat option with Fortnite on Switch, what's the deal? Why
that's really strange.
It's so strange.
What, is it just not? Is it because you're logged into a server and that's you're using most of, I don't know, the data and power from the server that the Switch can handle a voice chat?
My impression is just that this feature could have been happening for any game, and they're only doing this because they want to make sure you're playing with people who are in your friends list and through the phone and invited to a party on the phone. I think they want to force you into the phone ecosystem and force you to play with people who are, patently, undeniably your friend, because the phone app, the Nintendo Switch app that allows you to talk is what we're referring to, opposed to just talking through the headset, which apparently can be done on the aux port on the Switch. That also is subject to the parental controls. So I think it just draws back to Nintendo's long time, conservative nature and fear of people, exposing something inappropriate to a kid and things like that. But clearly it exists, and it's weird they would even be allowed to if it does, and Nintendo doesn't do it. It's fascinating, but I'm very glad it does. It's always been like the one, we talked about this in the past, but it's like the Switch, you look at Labo, you look at all the things Labo can do, it's incredible using the Joy-Con technology, and it's like, cool. And then you look at the Switch and you're like, but I can't do voice chat. It's neat that seemingly it can, but you do wonder, and it still introduces some problems, because like that's a great solution if you're playing in handheld mode, because if you're playing not in handheld mode, you would need a wireless adapter to talk through the headset mic, right? The aux port, it wouldn't make any sense. So, and there's no aux port on the Pro controller, so maybe that's why the phone exists, to try to deal with that scenario. I'm not sure.
Right. Well, that needs to exist. Also, Bluetooth speakers. Bluetooth headphones. I want to...
In any form. Yeah.
The Switch is so great, but just so... come on. Just give me the things.
It's all these things. It's like the... reading today, we'll wrap up with this, I suppose, but like, even on Reddit, people were talking, or it was a Resetra, people were talking about the fact that there is still not like a Netflix app, on the Switch.
Even though it was rumored, right?
Yeah, it was, and there was like even a Best Buy page that had it like listed at one point as like, pick up the Switch, it has all these cool apps too, and it isn't a thing. And people, the forum people were like, oh, that doesn't exist because clearly like Netflix just doesn't care enough to do it. But that's just a level of naivete between the people writing those posts. They don't understand that the Switch architecture, although it's like more flexible and more closer to a PC architecture than Nintendo has really done in the past, it still is. This is running off an OS that's a modified version of the 3DS OS. It's, it's a totally different platform these people have to develop for. The Hulu app, which does exist on the Switch, that was made by Factor 5, the people who made the Rogue Squadron games, and Lair. The technical, those people are wizards. So they're those games look amazing still on GameCube. They are well known. They apparently made an amazing version of it for the Wii that was never released. They're able to get so much out of the system they're using, and it took those people of that talent to make the Hulu app, and clearly, Nintendo just isn't quite there, and it's honestly a little bit of a worry, and I adore the Switch, but it makes me think more and more, we had this E3, and I did enjoy it, but it's not like we saw a ton more third-party support, right?
Right. Nope. And
that's kind of been the long time coming thing for the Switch. It's and we kind of figured it would turn around. We had Doom, Wolfenstein coming out, but it's there still is not a huge third-party support. We have Rabbids, but that's Nintendo exclusive. We have Starlink, but it makes me wonder: is the technology of the Switch, although it's still fascinating and magic and so fun to use, how long a life is it necessarily going to have? Or especially for third-party developers who don't want to double down on it, because we're not far from the
maybe they're
PS5.
So confident in it that they want to take time making their games and make sure it's not just some rushed,
right?
Because I'm sure they're seeing Nintendo just push out, like we talked earlier, a bunch of ports for the most part,
right.
and
for
a couple really good games.
Yeah, and that's definitely true too. I mean, I think that's always been Nintendo's somewhat their line, right? Is that they don't want to rush games. It's about there's the big thing of the GameCube era. They said, it's about quality, not quantity. And I think I just worry a little that, especially if we see the next Xbox and PlayStation in 2020, are we going to?
Right.
Are people still going to make? The Switch is awesome. A lot of stuff I'm enjoying. Hollow Knight, Luminous. These games are PC and a PSP game. I want to make sure people are still. Attracted to the platform to push it a bit.
As long as Nintendo is selling well, the games are gonna be on the system. But how are they gonna keep up too with I don't know advanced consoles like Xbox in 2 years? In 2 years,
right? Very soon. Because right now there have been some side by sides for the Crash Bandicoot. Insane Trilogy on Switch. Totally cool that's coming. That's a great way to play those games. And the Switch screen looks awesome. Handheld mode looks awesome. But it looks appreciably weaker on the Switch than it does on the PS4.
Well, that's my hope is that the Switch is, I don't want Nintendo to be like, let's come up with something completely new, like we've done with every single console.
Sure. I don't want that either. And I don't want the Switch Pro. I want them to, make it work. But it does just raise those questions a little bit.
I mean, I want the Switch 2. I want the Switch 2S. I want the Switch 3 and the 3SE.
Is it TOO even? Are they going to confuse us? What naming convention can they possibly make as opaque as possible?
We would like to play as well. 2.
Wii U 2 Switch on the go. GCN, baby.
I mean, you gotta believe it's probably going to be easy to mess with this form factor. Maybe less bezels, better screen, better processor in this thing, but the concept behind the Joy-Cons and the handheld mode and the docking, it works well, and it does
right for sure. I don't want to abandon that, of course,
right.
And I'm sure we have many more uses of Switch, but Nintendo hasn't really ever done the half step thing. We do have the new 3DS, but those games only ever got Xenoblade Chronicles and Binding of Isaac, and that's almost it. Those are the only games that are exclusive. Right. I think Fire Emblem Warriors maybe they don't do that. So I wonder a little bit for the more antiquated things we see with the Switch, if how Nintendo's going to approach that, and if it's going to continue to attract bigger games beyond the really awesome indie profile that's already on there.
Right. Well, Mario Tennis Aces.
In conclusion, Mario Tennis Aces, 4 to 5. All right. Well, thanks for listening in. Okay. Well, that's our show. And to play us out, maybe we can attach the little Mario Tennis theme music, of which I believe there's about one song in the game. The music is not robust in this game.
Insert racket breaking every damn time.
Racket. Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks for tuning in. That'll be our show. And